Welcome to this tutorial about working with videos in Microsoft PowerPoint. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to link to an internet video. Then I'll also show you how to insert a video that you might have as a file on your PC. I'll show you how you can apply styles to your video. That has mostly to do with colors and shapes. And then finally, we'll look at playback options. These really allow you to fully control how your video displays when you're doing your slideshow. So let's go ahead and dive in. Here we are back in our sample slideshow that we built in earlier tutorials. It's a presentation designed for new employees at a zoo. You may remember that we used this slide number 2 to learn about animations. Here's that little fox that we bounced all over the place. For now, I would like to work on a blank slide so we have plenty of room to do what we want to do. So here on the Home tab, I will click the New Slide button and I'll click on the Blank Slide option. And now we have inserted a new blank slide into our slideshow. So to insert a video, we'll click the Insert tab on the ribbon, and then we'll come down here and we'll click on the Video button. You'll notice that we have two options here. We can insert a link to an online video, or we can insert a video from a file that we have on our computer. Let's do the online video first, so I'll click on that. Now when we click on that, we get a dialog box that asks us for the web address of this online video. And I actually have one already set up. I decided to avoid any issues about intellectual property, and I've got all set up for us one of my videos. So here we are in YouTube with one of my tutorial videos, and all I need to do is click up here in the address bar, and it immediately highlighted the entire address for me. So now I just do Control-C on my keyboard, and that issues the copy command to the computer. Now I'll go back to my slideshow, and here you should notice, if you can see it, that there's already a flashing cursor in the box where the address has to go. So I'll use Control-V as in Victor and paste that address in. Now all I have to do is click the Insert button. There's a little bit of a hesitation. There's the video. There's the link to the video. Okay, so notice that when a video is inserted into a slide, we suddenly get new tabs on our ribbon. We've seen this happen before, but for other kinds of objects. Here we have video tools for formatting and for playback. For formatting, there are over here adjusting tools on the left-hand side. Corrections allow us to deal really with shading, if you need to make something darker or lighter. Color allows you to apply some kind of a nuanced color over your slides if you would like to do that. A poster frame we won't do, but a poster frame allows you to actually insert an image so that on the slide here, before you play the video, you could actually see some kind of a picture that you would want to perhaps show until you're ready to actually show the slideshow. Then we have a large palette here of video styles, and these have mostly to do with some kind of a frame you might want to put on your video or the shape of the video frame. That's what styles can help you with. Then we have a lot of options over here for shapes, borders, and effects. We can pick, you could actually put your video into any shape you wanted. Look at that, I can make my video look like a star. I don't think I'll do that though. I'll click undo here. We can pick border colors, and we have all kinds of effects that we can put onto our video if we want to, especially even 3D rotation. We can really twist it around a lot. Those are all things that might be fun for you to play with, but we're not going to apply any of them in this tutorial right now. We have an arrange group and also a size group, and the arrange group has to do with when you have more than one object on your slide, and we are only going to be working with this one object for now. Sizing has to do with making it smaller, so I could drag it and make it smaller, or I can make it bigger again. I can do that just with my handles, or you can do it numerically with these tools up here. If you want to actually crop this object, you can use this cropping tool. Okay, so these are the basic tools that you have on your Format tab on the ribbon. Now let's talk about playback. I'll click on the Playback tab, and I want you to notice that everything, almost everything, is completely grayed out, which means that we can't use it. And that's because this is not a locally stored video on our computer. This is out on the internet, and when we have a video on the internet that we're linking to on a slide, we can't control very much at all. Really, all we have to control at this point is how it starts. So the starting command has three options. I can work with in-click sequence, which means that I could click anywhere on the slide and the video would begin. I could tell PowerPoint to start this automatically when the slide appears, or I could tell PowerPoint, don't start this until I actually click on the object itself. So if I go with this third choice, I could click anywhere else on the slide and nothing would happen until I actually clicked on the video. Let's set this to automatically. Let's go back to slide number 1, and then we'll play our slideshow. Here we are at slide number 1. I'll click to go to the next slide, and there it goes. Now the video is playing. There's a little bit of a hesitation, but the video did play automatically. I didn't have to click to make that happen. I'm going to right-click and end this slideshow. We don't need to watch the whole thing. I think that you were able to see how I was able to determine when it would start by saying automatically. Notice I do not have those extra tabs here on my ribbon unless I select this object on my slide. Now I have the video tools, the format, and the playback. So now that I have this selected, I'm going to tap the delete key on my keyboard, and let's see what it's like to insert a video that we have as a file on our computer. So once again, I'll click the Insert tab on the ribbon. I'll come down here to the Media group, and I'll click on the Video button. And this time I'll say that I want to insert a video that I have on my computer, on my PC. I'll click that option, and the computer immediately opens up a dialog box for me to go find the video so I can insert it. And I have it actually waiting for us on my desktop. It's a little video about hummingbirds. So I have that selected, and I will click the Insert button on the dialog box. There's a bit of a hesitation, but there's the video. I'm not going to go back and talk about all the format options again because they're the same that I've already talked to you about. I do want to talk about these playback options. So let's just go through the list here and talk about what they all do. Add a bookmark allows you to set a timing bookmark, set a place in the timeline of your video where you could trigger something else to happen. So I don't have anything set up for us to do that, but just as an example, I might explain to you that if your video is playing and after maybe 10 seconds you want some kind of an announcement to appear, to come flying in, you can have a trigger for some kind of animation on your slide attached to a bookmark. That's fun to play with, and you might want to check it out. Trimming the video allows you to determine a shorter time frame for it. I happen to know that this video actually plays for 41 seconds, and it's just 41 seconds of watching hummingbirds. And maybe I feel for my presentation that I need it to be shorter than that. I can click on the Trim Video button, and here I have tools that allow me to set a different start and end time. So instead of 41 seconds, I can trim it down to start after 10 seconds and end at 33 seconds. So there it's only 23 seconds instead of 41. I could also do the same skill using these numeric timers here, but personally I'm kind of a fan of these handles. The drag and drop technique works well for me. I'll click OK. So we have now shortened this video. And we'll talk about the next tool, which is fade duration. If you want, you can have your video sort of fade in and fade out. It's sort of a nice effect, especially with these little hummingbirds it is. So why don't we say, we'll just set a 5-second fade in. Let me set that up to 5 seconds. Okay, so we will have an effect of sort of fading into the visual when this video starts. I won't bother setting it for the fade out because this video is so short anyway, but it might be nice for you to see that when we do the fade in. Volume control is pretty self-explanatory. If your video has sound, you'll want to control the volume, and you want to make sure your audience can hear anything that you want them to hear, but you also don't want to overwhelm them. And if you have a video that is visually great, but you don't like any of the sound, maybe you hate the background music, you can mute it altogether. I'll leave this on high because hummingbirds don't make much sound, so we're okay with them. Again, for click sequence, for starting, I have the same options that we had for the YouTube video. We can have the video start if I click anywhere on the screen. We can have it start automatically when the slide appears, or we could have it start when we actually click right on the video itself, which means that clicking elsewhere on the slide is not sufficient. I would actually have to click on the video for it to start. In this particular instance, I'd like to go with in-click sequence, which is the default setting. I can also tell this video to play full screen. And what that would mean is maybe I would resize my video so it's not so big. And maybe I would have my video here, and maybe I would have some text over here. But at the point that the video plays, I want it to fill as big as it can fill on the screen. So I will leave that setting like that so you can see what it looks like when we play it. Hide while not playing means exactly what it says. It means that if the video is not playing, you don't even know it's on the screen. You don't see it at all. So we'll do that. Be careful, though, that you don't have this when clicked on chosen and then hide it, because those two things cancel each other out. And if the video's hidden, you can't click on it to get it started. Loop until stopped has to do with exactly what it says. The video just plays over and over and over and over again until you actually stop it. That might be something that would work for you maybe at a trade show if you have to step away from your booth for a minute. But be careful about that because it doesn't stop until you stop it. Rewind after playing would be something that you would do if maybe you had a short little video and you wanted to actually play it 2 times before you move to the next slide. So if you have a video that's going to play more than once, you certainly would want it to rewind before you try to play it again. Insert captions has to do with subtitles, and that is a whole another level of skill. You have to have pre-prepared your captions in something called a WebVTT file, and I'm not prepared to go into that in this tutorial, but if you want to learn about it, you would go and Google WebVTT and see what you could learn about preparing that. Okay, so at the moment, we have set up a number of things here. We don't have any bookmarks, but we did trim the video. We set it to have a fade in. We didn't do anything with the volume. We did set it so that as soon as I do something, I click on the slide anywhere, the video will start to play, and it will kick itself into full screen. But we will not see it unless it's playing. So I'll go back to slide number 1 so that we can go from slide 1 into slide 2, and I want you to see how all those things play out. So I'll come down here and I will click the slideshow button. There's my slide number 1. I'll click on it 1 time. Now here's my slide number 2, and it's completely blank because we told it not to show the video until it plays. Now I can click anywhere on this slide to trigger it, so I will do that. And now it got as big as it could, and look at it faded in there a little bit. So here's my video about hummingbirds. And it won't last too long, or we can stop it also. Maybe I'll go ahead and stop it here. So I'll pause it, and I could pause it and then replay more, or pause it again. Now I'll just go ahead and end this show. I'll click End Show, That brings me back to my edit screen for the slideshow. So in this tutorial, I've shown you how to insert a link for an online video, and I've shown you how to insert a file that you have on your computer that is a video. And most importantly, I've not only shown you the style and formatting options, but the playback options. These are all really the most critical tools that you have when you're working with a video in your PowerPoint. So I hope you'll come in here and play with them. Slam the doors, kick the tires, learn everything you can by doing it yourself, and don't ever forget that your best friend is that undo button. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video.